Hey everyone, it's June, which means it's Pride Month. If you didn't know, it commemorates the 1969 Stonewall riots, which were a big turning point in the ongoing fight for the LGBTQ+ community's acceptance and civil rights, and celebrates the awesome diversity of the human spirit. Here at IGN, we're donating to the Trevor Project, a great charity benefiting at-risk youth, and to celebrate Pride Month, we're taking a look at some of our favourite LGBTQ+ characters in games.
So one of my favorite characters is Ellie from The Last of Us. I feel like she probably has one of the strongest arcs of almost any video game character in that in the beginning of the game she's already a strong character, or she's more mature for her age because she's in a pretty awful situation, but you see her grow and harden and get smarter and learn throughout the course of the game, both as a companion to Joel and someone who's really handy in combat, but also as this kind of funny, quirky, compassionate but also very guarded little girl, turning from, I think it's 14 to 15, so it's a really important part of her life. And I think the stuff that we learn about Ellie, every single piece of it and how well voice acted she is, just made me feel really, really attached to her as a character, and I'm very excited to see that she might actually have a more successful relationship, hopefully with people who don't die in The Last of Us Part 2.
How about that? Gross. You love it.
I love Bill and Frank's relationship in The Last of Us. It's unexpected, sad, but very real. We don't know their backstory. Were they together before? Were they driven together by the cruel world they were forced to live in? Either way, love is love, and they had each other. So sure, Frank had to try to run away on his own in the end, which was kind of messed up, but you know something special is there.
He's the only idiot that would wear a shirt like that.
I really like Gregg from Night in the Woods because he's this tiny little trash animal that I identify with that. He's rebellious, he's cool, he's a troublemaker, but ultimately he also cares about his friends a whole lot, and he wants his future to be better with his boyfriend Angus. And I don't know, I think that's really cool. It's really nice to see a character who's not like, you know, some buff space warrior sort of thing. And it's just kind of awesome to see that represented in the game where it's just like a normal person, but I guess in this game it's just a fox with a cool rockabilly jacket.
So Undyne from Undertale is one of my favorite characters ever. The way she's written is just so wonderful. There's so much depth to this character depending on what choices you make over the course of the game. If you're playing just regularly, you only get one side of her personality, but it's when you play as a true pacifist that you can see how vulnerable she is, and if as you play as a more of a genocidalist evil person, she becomes the true hero of the game, which I think is amazing that you become a villain. And let's face it, her mannerisms are kind of crazy, and that's what I love about her. She's a little bit volatile, doesn't really know how to make friends, but it's when she tries to engage in certain romantic relationships that it becomes really hilarious to see just how she drops the ball and dunks her crush into a garbage can. What's not to love?
I'm a big fan of the representation throughout the Assassin's Creed franchise, whether it's Leonardo da Vinci in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, or Ned Weinert as a trans man in AC Syndicate, or even the upcoming romance options that you can choose in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's really great representation and a good reminder that LGBTQ+ people have been around since the dawn of time.
So one of my favorite LGBTQ characters is actually kind of a weirder one. It's Vivian from Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. This is sort of an odd one because Vivian is transgendered canonically within every translation of the game except for English. For some reason, when they brought it over to English, they were worried about ratings or something like that, and they changed her to just be referred to as she the entire time. And she's just this fun, cool character that's really helpful and really friendly, and she gets insulted by her sister a couple times. The sister, this really mean sister, calls her a man and is like, "You're a man," and she's like very sad about it. Except for the Italian translation. In the Italian translation, she's like, "Nah, I'm proud of the fact that I'm a woman now," and like that's really, really cool.
Samantha Traynor from Mass Effect 3 was always my favorite of the new crew members that you could start a romance option with. She was kind of dorky compared to all the other characters on the Normandy. She played chess. She talked about this 6,000 credit toothbrush she had with Mass Effect fields that massaged her gums.
She talked about being attracted to Edie in a really awkward way.
Thanks, Edie, and I apologise for all those times I talked about how attractive your voice was.
One reason why that was intriguing to me for her character was in terms of introducing the first lesbian character into Mass Effect 3 that you could romance. They could have gone with the kind of stereotypical route for like a lesbian character in games. They could have made her like brutish and aggressive, but they didn't. They went for like a very normal, just person with eccentricities that you might find anywhere in the world.
I didn't realise that was an option.
It's an option.
So I'm kind of cheating here, and I'm not choosing just one character, I'm choosing a whole game. So We Know the Devil is a really brilliant visual novel kind of about trans and queer culture, specifically set at a church camp. It's a little bit about coming out maybe together with people that also have those worries and about deflecting and kind of working through all those processes through this visual novel. Each of the endings are really powerful in that it singles out one person to be possessed by the devil, essentially kind of coming out and talking about themselves and revealing maybe what they've been hiding for a long time. And then of course the true ending, which I implore you all to get and figure out for yourself and see how that works, kind of comes together in seeing how their unity is really powerful and how kind of being true to yourself is important. And even though it's shown as something that may be harmful or demonic, which obviously it's not, there's power in being true to that. And so even in a church camp, you can find yourself among allies and friends.
Growing up in a very traditional, very religious family, I was never able to really express my sexual identity and let alone act on it. And like any child would do, I used video games as a form of escapism. And it wasn't until I started playing The Sims 2 that I was able to have a glimpse into the freedoms that I wasn't allowed in real life. So I thank The Sims for giving me a glimpse at what life with another man would be like, and to help me realize that my attraction to other men was not unnatural. And it also gave me hope that I could one day live my life as my Sims did with all their boyfriends and husbands, and that's why I'm grateful for The Sims.
I want to spotlight Shovel Knight because it has a queer-friendly game mode called Body Swap that lets you change the gender of Shovel Knight, Shield Knight, and all of the bosses. Instead of the trope of the man saving the woman he loves, you can change it to fit your identity. And if I want to go on an adventure battling all these crazy divas to save my boyfriend, then Shovel Knight gives me that freedom. Now, there aren't any non-binary options, but regardless, Body Swap is an important, progressive step for video games.